I am at you today with an amazing episode, and he joins me now, Mr. Iga Smiley Kabesa. Iga, first and foremost, good evening to you, and thank you for spending some of your time with me. I know that you have a lot going on, and talk about an exciting opportunity. You'll be fighting stateside here in a few weeks. That's got to be very, very exciting for you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on your show, man. This feels amazing. I'm actually liking this. Geos, thank you so much, man. It's amazing to know that there's such platforms to give us a voice to speak as an athlete, because all we do is just train and fight. So when you get the opportunity to speak a little bit, feels good. Thanks for the opportunity, man.
Well, is it
Yeah,
it is a huge honor to have you on my show. And in doing research about you, like I watched not only all of your fights, but I wanted to like dig in and understand who you are as a man and your background and kind of where you come from. I think that's so important. And I was
yeah,
when in doing my research on you and figuring out what some of those answers were, I am amazed at what you have had to endure and go through in your life just to even
yeah,
compete. And for the people here in America that aren't familiar with you or are going to be watching you compete for the very first time, I wanted you to
yeah.
have that opportunity to give people an understanding of just kind of like what your background is and what you had to go through in your life just to even set foot in a cage to compete in mixed martial arts.
Yeah. Um, well, okay. So let's start from the beginning. Um, Well, I am Igeu Kabesa. I don't really like to talk about my past a lot because I always get a sense of like people like want to feel sorry for me or something like that. And I don't like that. I like to, I think just growing up, the way I grew up made me just not like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let everybody know. I grew up, I was placed in a shelter when I was 6 years old. That was in Johannesburg. We were placed in a shelter, myself and my brother. We were there for 2 years. And then the shelter moved us now and put us in a children's home in Germiston. And when we got into Germiston, I was about to turn 8 at that time, 8, 9. And that's how we got introduced to wrestling. The wrestling club came and took us, and I mean, it was a bunch of kids. I was one of them. And we trained, and for me, first, I thought I was going to become a WWE superstar, because it was wrestling, and that was the idea then. And yeah, so and I grew up just like any other kid in a children's home, and you looking to just love, and you don't understand what is going on until you get older. When I was 13, I met my mom for the first time. It was just for a couple of hours, and I found out that I've got a sister, and I've got three younger brothers, and I've actually got other brothers and sisters and stuff like that. I don't have a good relationship with them, but I try to, and I'm not used to that, but I still try to give them that opportunity to allow people in,
Mm-hmm.
because normally it's just like I just block. Yeah, I've never met my dad. I don't know where he is. I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah, I mean, school was great as well. I mean, that was fun while it lasted. And then when I was 17, it was after one of the nationals. We went to go racial nationals. Myself and my brother was together at that time still. And we went to my coach's house because wrestling for us was like an escape point. For us to get out of the children's home, we went to the wrestling. You go to wrestle every day, every night. On the weekend, you run away because you're gonna go to a tournament. So you spend most of your time out of there. So that was like an escape point for us. And then that evening, we went to my coach's house, and EFC came up on the television. It came up, and I was like, "What the hell is that? Like, that looks fun. Like, what is going on?" We put the volume up. It was so loud. And then one of the commentators spoke about wrestling. They're like, "Oh, this guy is such a good wrestler." And I was like, "Well, I've never seen this guy in the wrestling scenes. I mean, who is this guy? Like, where is he training?" And
Right, right.
like they're lying to the people on the telly. That's not right. And that's when myself and my brother, we took a stand. We're like, you know what, we need to get into this thing, But that was like us 17 years old. We didn't even know where to go start looking for a gym, but we said we want to get into that. And then we're talking about all of that stuff. And then when I turned 18, I had to leave the children's home, or I had to leave the children's home because I was above age. So that's when I moved and I lived with my mom, and that was a struggle because it was like it was different. That's when you start taking out reality, you know, like bread doesn't just come to you. You need to stand up and go work for it, you know?
Of course.
So when that started happening, you're out of school, now you need to start making money. You know, only thing I'm good at really is either being an accountant or fighting, you know?
Right.
And you can't be an accountant because you don't have the money to go study for stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
so we were like, you know what? I'm enjoying my wrestling and maybe this fighting thing is the way about it, you know? Um, and then my wrestling coach at that time, he got us jobs. It wasn't the best jobs, but it fed us. We could eat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I was a checker at the transport company, and then from there on, I just took the money, little bit of money that I had, and I started on weekends now go around looking for gyms to join and stuff like that. And we got one which was fun because it was closer to home, and they didn't want. They said they're not going to charge us because we can teach them wrestling, and that was fun. And yeah, we just carried on training from there. The goal was to just turn professional, start making some money, and show the world that listen, yeah, this is what wrestling really is. You know, it's not this small. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it because I mean it was so bad at that time. Oh my soul, it was very bad. So when I turned professional, before I turned professional, there was points where I had to leave my job. I
Mm-hmm.
had to choose either fighting or working. It could never be both. And I made that decision. And when I made the decision of just fighting, I thought I was gonna like make it through. And then that's when everything just started becoming difficult, you know,
Mm-hmm.
sleeping in the gym, sleeping on the streets, you know, you just, all over the show, just trying to make it work, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, I just told myself, it's either I'm gonna make this work or I'm gonna be a street kid. Choose
Right.
one, you know? And at that time I was like, you know what, I gotta do this, you know? And I had my first amateur fight. Jeez, that was scary. The first time I fought was scariest. Like I was like, what the hell? People are cheering on to see somebody get beat up. Like
Right.
this is
Right.
madness. Like this is crazy. And on top of that, I'm the guy getting in the cage, you know? But
Right.
then the moment I walked in there, it just felt so comfortable. It felt
Mm-hmm.
so good. It was the first time in my life I had so much confidence. You know, I had so
Mm-hmm.
much confidence. I felt so good in there because I literally knew that I'm gonna demolish this guy. Like he doesn't know what's about to hit him, you know. And then after that, it just came flying. You know, I had 10 amateur fights in like 8 months, 5 months, and then straight after that, turned pro. And my first professional fight, I just made everybody understand. Listen, yeah, this is what wrestling looks like. It was fun. Like I was enjoying that whole progress of just fighting. And I mean, I did have rough times. I mean, everybody knows when you start fighting out your first fight, you're not going to really get paid well.
Right.
So it was difficult still, professional athlete, and you thought life is about to change. When reality check doesn't change that easy. Yeah, I just kept pushing, and right now I'm sitting in a position where I feel like, wow, Igor, you going overseas, man? You're going to America.
Right.
I interested. Yeah,
Well, you've had to earn your way. Like it took many years of high level competition. Like you weren't fighting bums, you were fighting some of the top guys. Um,
yeah,
the top guys in South Africa. Like I looked at your record, I know exactly the path that you had to take in order to get here. It wasn't
yeah,
easy. And
yeah,
it's incredible to think about your journey. Like you talked about, I watched a video on you and you talked about being a kid in the children's home. You're like, just to wrestle. Sometimes I didn't have enough money to catch the coach to make it to training. I couldn't do that.
yeah,
Or we didn't have enough food sometimes, but we made
yeah,
through and we just did what we had to do. And now you start
yeah,
your MMA career. You're sleeping in the gym, you're sleeping in the street, you're doing whatever it is that you need to do to like keep your dream alive. And now when
yeah,
you look back on all that, you're getting ready to fight in America for one of the like top MMA organizations.
yeah,
Like you've won multiple championships at this. Like you never have to fight again. What you've already accomplished already at such a young age, multi-time champion, and when you consider where you came from, like I know you're a really humble man and you probably wouldn't talk about it too much, but like yeah, that's pretty inspiring. There are a lot of people that probably look up to you and they look at what you've been able to do and you give people hope. And that's got
yeah,
to be a lot of weight on your shoulders, but it's also got to be very humbling for you at the same time.
yeah. No, I think when it comes to like my past and how I grew up and stuff like that, um, like I know like you would say now, it's very it's a positive thing for somebody to look into and want to push themselves. I mean, it wasn't easy, man. A lot of hungry nights. You guys will tell you, oh, you gotta look after your body, you gotta eat certain foods, and but you're forgetting that. Listen, man, I ain't getting paid what you're getting paid. Like I can't
Yeah.
be eating that. There's some stuff that I just can't get to. And and unfortunately, we in the world of men. Can't cry about it. You can't
Hmm.
you can't say I'm tired today.
Hmm.
Or I don't feel like it. There's no space for that. So when you grow up with a mentality of just it's either you're gonna be a street kid or you're gonna make a success. Choose one. There's no in between where mommy can hold your hand or uncle can come in and save you. There's nothing like that. So it's a bit of a different mindset when it comes to looking at things, and I think that's also one of the things that makes me like want to fight, because I feel like when I'm fighting, I'm actually doing something. It's not like sitting on a desk and just writing on paper. Like
Right.
I feel like I'm not doing much. I wanna do it. Like I wanna get physical about it, and that's what makes me feel alive. It makes me feel good to do that. And yeah, man, my past is I don't want to like I know we gotta discuss it every now and then, and it's just fine. I just feel like I've got a pen in my hand,
Hmm.
and the more I speak about my past, is the more I'm just keep on writing it.
Yeah.
You know, I want to like just keep on focusing on that new stuff. Like, hey, who's this guy? This
Yeah.
guy's he's about to catch something he's never understood. He's about to feel something that is never felt in the whole of India. Like, it's about to hit him hard.
Well, let's talk about your opponent. Let's talk about this guy on 3 March. You're going to be fighting a pretty tough guy. His name is Vikas Singh. I did look into him a little bit, and it sounds like if there's one thing I respect about your opponent, it would be he encountered a lot of difficulty, is what it looks like at the beginning of his career. But then he turned it
Yeah,
around and
yeah,
he's put together a very impressive winning streak. And it looks like he's like on a resurgence, right? So, like, I feel like we find out most about fighters when they encounter adversity. And in your case, like, you've won a belt, you've lost a belt, then you had to go back out there and get it again. Like, you've also encountered adversity. And, like, some guys, they when times get tough or they don't get the result that they want, it changes them and they aren't the same. So you've bounced back. So has your opponent. It's an intriguing matchup. And when you look at this
yeah.
guy, what are some of the things that you see in your opponent that maybe you admire a little bit?
So to be honest with you, I haven't paid like enough attention of who he is personally. I've just
Mm-hmm.
like literally watched all his fights. That's
Mm-hmm.
all I did, and I was just literally just looking at his fight style. I'm not so worried about any of the techniques. I believe if you're in the position of where we are right now, you should be very well all rounded. So that's not the problem. The problem is what kind of a style does he have? Is he like a counter fighter? Is he like, the guy that puts the pressure? Where does he like to fight the best? Kind of stuff like that. So those are stuff I've been paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I know that most fighters, we come from difficult backgrounds, and that's why we've got the bone to do what we're doing. I'm
Sure.
not saying that the guys that don't come from tough backgrounds don't have the bone. I'm just saying most fighters come from a tough background. So I mean, I'm just sitting and hoping that he brings the heat like I'm about to bring it, because it's gonna be fun. Because if you get in there and you find somebody that can challenge you on your skill level, can challenge you on your pace level, that can challenge you, like that just grows you on another level. Like people don't understand, sometimes when you lose, sometimes it's not about the lose, it's about the growth with
Mm-hmm.
the lose. And a lot of people that don't understand that tend to break in the long run. You'll find they'll lose once and never come back because they don't understand why they lost. You know, growing up in a wrestling community, you lose like every weekend. You're losing. Or you might beat this person today, and next Saturday they beat you, and it's like, so you get used to that understanding. It's okay to lose. There's nothing wrong with that. got you. I want to be like, get into the PFL, beat everybody up, become king, become king, signify that thing, and let everybody know that, listen, yeah, I'm going to be king of each and every organization I get to.
Well, I'm excited about this matchup, and I wanted to ask you a little bit. Um, Competing in the EFC champion, you've been doing it for many years. You've held the belt. Everyone knows who you are in South Africa. Like you're a draw. People come and they pay money to watch you fight because you're exciting. Like you get people to show up. People want to watch you fight. That is so important. And I want to watch
Yeah.
you fight. Like you're an exciting guy. You can do everything so well. And when you went out there at EFC 99 and you put away a tough guy who was undefeated, you knock him out in 20 seconds. When you did that, you had to have known when you go back to the dressing room, like, okay, there's no one else. Like, this is it. Like, somebody had to have paid attention to that. This is it. From when that happened to when the PFL called you and said, we want you to fight for us in America, like, how soon did that arrangement, how soon was that underway after your fight at EFC 99?
Well, after 99, literally, the 99 was November. In the middle of November, going to December, we got into we got ourselves under management with Ruby Sports.
Mm-hmm.
So we got with them, like that was mid-November. And then like ending of November, beginning December, that's when they came with that PFL contract. And then we were like, what? This is fun. And the nice thing about that was PFL is the one that wanted us. They were like, listen, we're gonna take them. We want to let him come here. This is what we can give him. Let's see what he does. And when that happened, I was like, shoo, this happened so close. Like this is happening. And at that time, I was like, oh well, maybe it's not gonna happen, but let's see. Like let's keep training. Let's keep doing what we gotta do. I mean, we're not gonna burn bridges. We're gonna keep talking with EFC. We're gonna do what we have to do. And then beginning of this year, they were like, listen, you need to fly down on the 27th of February because you're going to fight soon. I was like, what the hell? Like, so early already? Like, this is happening, And I couldn't believe it because it was something new, I mean, traveling to America is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And let alone, now you're going to compete there. And everybody in America that watches PFL is going to be watching you, And that's a big one. So I'm like ready for this guy. Like I'm just ready to be like, guys, take a look at what's about to happen. Like
that's got to be
stuff.
That's got to be really exciting. Like, have you been here before?
No, I've never.
Man, that's got to be like that's got to be pretty cool, right? To like not only go to a place you've never been to before, but to like get an opportunity to show the world why you are one of the best. And I believe you are one of the best. You're an exciting guy to watch, and I want to see you get out there and prove it to the rest of the world. And I know you can do that. But when you think about all of that stuff, like it's easy to get like lost in the lights, right? And you're professional. You've done this many times. You've made a walk. You've fought in front of big crowds before. You've headlined multiple fights before. Like you're used to these types of things. But considering it's PFL, the bright lights, you have to come to America to fight. Are there certain things that you need to do like mentally to kind of like maintain your focus and not like get lost in all of that stuff?
Well, to be honest, no. There's a lot of mental stuff that I people say I should be doing, but I feel like I don't because I don't need it. Like I've never done it. I don't sit down and like and prepare myself mentally. Like it has never happened. It's like if I put music in my ears and I'm able to move my body, I'm happy. So I think my biggest thing is just grounding myself when I get that side. When you get there, ground yourself, humble yourself, and greet everybody that comes by you, and don't ever think you're bigger than the sport. Those are just the stuff that has been. It's just who I am. So it's just literally getting there and cooling myself down, and then staying focused because it has happened in the past where you're winning and you think the whole world is your friends, and then all of a sudden you stop doing what you need to be doing, and then you get yourself beat. by somebody you already beaten already, and that is not cool, you know. So for me, when I get there, I need to make sure that I'm able to ground myself, stay calm as possible, and make sure that I just live up and do what I have to do.
I have one final question for you, sir. And it's simply this: a win over Singh over here in America in front of PFL, you show the world why you came over here, why they picked you. You have the
Yeah.
opportunity to do that. What would a win over Singh in front of the people at PFL, like what would that mean for you as a competitor? Like what would that mean in terms of like this next chapter of your career that you're getting ready to start?
So I think first things first, I think that win will just signify that me being a champion in the UFC is the real deal. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that we actually have some very good competition this side. That's number one. And number two, I think just building a career in the PFL will be like a very good start. And everybody knows I like to take control of my situation. So with me being there, I'm definitely gonna make sure that I'm on top of the food chain.
That sounds absolutely fantastic. And Iga, I know that you probably have a lot of people that work with you to make sure that you're sharp. And I'm sure that you have a lot of supporters in your corner as you're getting ready to make the journey to America to fight here. So if there are people from your gym or certain supporters that you would like to thank, I'd like to give you the opportunity to do that before I let you go this evening.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, man. Okay, for starters, I just want to first say thanks to Social Tech that keeps me going. I mean, Social Tech is a very good company. They work and do a lot of changes in people's lives in the smaller communities in South Africa. Say thanks to my coach at I don't know if I should call it your bachelor, if I call it Guts and Glory, but thanks to my coach for supporting me and pushing me and making sure that I'm ready, and not just ready physically but mentally as well. And to my training partners, man, I've got one of the best training partners. I've got one of the guys. His name is Rudy. He's he's the next thing, you know. He's God damn. He's the talent is pouring the side. I don't think people understand what's happening the side, but just want to say shout out to him for being there all the time. And thanks to everybody for following me and just watching and paying attention to the sport. And thanks for everybody's support. And yeah, guys, have a good evening.